Okay, Assalamualaikum and very good day to everyone. This is a pre-recording for the first lecture, right? And I hope that everyone can listen carefully and then get a clear understanding before you begin your process, okay? Your process of producing an academic paper. So writing is effortless when you know what to write and then you know how to write, and knowing that is when you also do prior reading. Okay, right. So, what is academic writing all about? Before we actually understand or get to know the definition, it's more important if we know the concept behind it. So, when we talk about academic writing, let's look into these three concepts. Number one, academic writing is writing done by scholars for other scholars. So when we say scholar here, you guys are students. So do you think that you are a scholar or not? The answer is there's no right and wrong here, but the moment you step your foot into being a university student, into being in the academic world, even with the capacity of a student, you are actually a scholar. You are a scholar of knowledge, the knowledge that you are learning, okay, where you can share with others. Okay, you don't have to wait until you graduate. So that makes you a scholar of knowledge already, but at your own level. Okay, so there are many levels when we talk about the word scholar. So you are a scholar at your level as a student, right? So number two, the concept of academic writing is devoted to topics and questions that are of interest to the academic community. What does it mean? It means here you can write about almost anything. Okay? What do you have in mind now? For example, it is raining outside currently. So maybe I want to write something about rain. Okay? Or for example, you see you are currently in front of your screen and then you feel like, okay, uh, listening to pre-recording lectures is not meaningful in your learning experience. So maybe that is a topic or question that you want to investigate. So it can be anything. Or for example, you are currently having fun playing PUBG. So you want to investigate something, a concerning issue related to PUBG, or you are into makeup currently, or you are into Insta famous. So anything under the light, it can be of any topic that are of interest to the academic world, to the academic community. So the academic community is not just, you don't have to limit your mind to boring topics. Okay, it can be anything. And then lastly, academic writing presents the reader with an informed argument. So it's not just freely writing like you are writing your Instagram caption, like you are writing your Twitter, like you are writing your Facebook status. It is writing or informing your readers with an informed argument. So what does it mean? Meaning to say that, let's say for example, I want to use the topic PUBG just now. Okay, let's say for example, I want to write something on PUBG as helps increase um, memory. PUBG is helpful in increasing memory, for example. Okay, so then I would have to do prior reading, identifying the relationship between games and memory, games and knowledge. Then I would have to, like extract main ideas. I have to brainstorm for points before I actually write in a piece of a paper or typing in Microsoft Word, for example. So when you publish your work, you submit your work, it becomes an informed argument. Alright? Okay, so therefore, what we can say about academic writing, it is something that is informed, okay? It is something that has a structure. It is a topic of interest, and then it has to be written in a certain manner and structure. And then when we talk about academic writing, there are many, okay, there are many nature, there are many genres, but for the purpose of this class, I would like to focus only on two genres, which are argumentative or problematic topics. Okay, um, those are the two genres that we will focus on later when we come to the part in finalizing and deciding on the topic, right? Okay, next. So, what are features of an academic writing? So, when we talk about features, an academic writing is must be planned and it has to be focused. So you cannot start off writing on one topic and then suddenly in the middle you are importing a new topic. So it cannot be done in such a way. Okay, and then an academic writing is structured. What does it mean? It follows the basic structure of writing that I guess everyone is familiar with. You start off with introduction, introducing the topic, and then you move on to the body paragraph. You want to elaborate the main points that you have decided on. And then lastly, the conclusion, where you conclude, you want to compile, you want to wrap up all the discussions or the arguments that you have written beforehand. And then, most importantly, academic writing is evidenced. Everything that you write must be supported with evidences. Okay, so you can include your own opinion, but it has to be supported with evidences. Where, how do you say, why do you say that? What's the proof? So everything has to be evidenced. And then it is formal in tone and style. So you cannot write your academic paper with short forms or with contractions. And then you have to avoid first person pronouns. So you cannot write I think, we think. It has to be, the topic is interesting because it has to be in third person pronoun. Okay? And then we talk about formal, you need to also abide by vocabularies that are suitable and appropriate for academic writing. Okay, next. So just now we talk about one of the features, which is structured. So what's a structure of an academic writing? As I said just now, as I've mentioned, we have the introduction, we have the body paragraph, and then we have the conclusion. So the introduction, it outlines the main direction the writing will take, gives the background context, gives the background information, as well as where you need to write the thesis statement. Okay, so what is a thesis statement? That will be something that I'm going to ask you after this. Okay, so a thesis statement is dot dot dot, not gonna tell you now. Okay, and then moving on, once you have composed a concise introduction, you move on to the body paragraph, where each body paragraph that you have structured would be presented with main points, with the elaboration and development of ideas, as well as each point that you write on, you elaborate, also must be supported with evidences, and then it has to follow a logical order to make it easy for readers to read and understand what you're writing about. And lastly, you write the conclusion, where you bring together all the main points and probably sometimes identify gaps or weaknesses, as well as you may want to call for action or recommend suggestions, for example. Okay, so it depends on the genre that you decide on when you write your academic paper. And then we move on to the steps in identifying related topics. As I mentioned just now, you can write just about anything, okay, but anything cannot simply be anything when you don't know what is it all about. You know, when you're given so many choices, you might become overwhelmed. So you don't have to decide there and then. You need to, like, have